podcast is up. It's your favorite TIO Al Cintron. I know I've been off camera and MIA, a lot of shit going on, but here I am. The crew is back together. Welcome to the latest episode of TIO Al Friends. I'm joined by Pete Kennedy, Anthony Gallo, and a fucking Yankee fan. My man.
Love you too, bro.
Fucking Yankee fan who drinks this fucking shit because I don't know what the fuck this is. But so here we are.
If they want to sponsor the pod.
Yes,
Hey, you know what? I love this stuff. This is the greatest thing ever. My
This was
number
not
six
planned, by the
way. You got the? Is that orange flavor?
No, it's tamarind.
What the fuck is
that's
that?
a new one too. You don't know what a tamarind is, bro?
Nah, man. I know what a tambourine
I
is,
don't
but
know
I don't know
what
what
it
that
is either,
is.
but I like the flavor.
Thank you. It's not just me. It's not just me. So, what's up, fellas?
Oh my God, we're starting off on a high note, bro. We just right off the rip. It's welcome Pete, welcome Gallo, and that fucking Yankee fan.
Well, we'll start with something we all have in common, and that's the hire of Mike Brown as the new Knicks coach.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have their hot takes, and they're not happy about it, and they feel like it's a lateral move or it's a downgrade. I talked about it on my show this morning. To me, I'm taking the wait and see approach because I don't want egg on my face. And we could have did a lot worse. I didn't want Mike Brown. I wanted Tibbs back because I felt he earned it. Yeah, I stick by my guns. If they got lost to the Pistons, see you later. They got smoked by the Celtics, see you later. They got swept by the Pacers, see you later. None of that happened. And unfortunately, Tibbs didn't want to change, that's probably why he's gone. He was hard-headed. He didn't want to change and adapt like Tom Coughlin did. I like what they've done with the roster, but let's start with the coach first. How do you feel about Mike Brown as the new Knicks coach?
I mean, you guys know how I feel, and I feel like I'm in the minority. I like it. None of their first choices they were going to get. None of them were. Mike Malone wasn't a serious candidate. Shout out to Chris Kalaith in the chat. Just that's why Malone wasn't brought in for an interview. Seems like he rubbed people the wrong way. Also, why would he take one job when next year he'll have the pick of the litter at whatever jobs he wants? I'm okay with it. They didn't have a ton of options when we really look at it. And he's a yes, it's a kind of a lateral move to Tibbs, but the one difference I'll say between him and Tibbs is he came into the league as a defensive first coach, and then he's now adjusted into a guy who's coached an offense that was number one in the league and an offense that was a top 5 offense the year after. So or the year prior, I'm okay with it, and I'm not going to sit here and be like I'm super excited. But there was no one they were hiring that can make me super excited. There were people they could hire that would have pissed me off.
I have to keep it a buck with how I feel about the hiring because if you asked me a week ago to rank my candidates, he wasn't 1, he wasn't 2, he wasn't 3. And I'm not going to sit here now that he's hired and go, actually, I love it. Boom. Let's go Mike Brown. I'm not going to do all that. But I do think there's positives to it. I thought Taylor Jenkins was a more intriguing candidate. I thought James Borrego was a more intriguing candidate. And obviously the Knicks are considering James Borrego as one of the lead assistants if the Pelicans will allow him to interview for an assistant job under Mike Brown, which is interesting because he interviewed for head coach, right? So that excites me to have both of them. I love the prospects of James Borrego. I think he got shafted in Charlotte, if we're being for real. Yeah. This guy took a Charlotte Hornets team with a 20-year-old LaMelo Ball, a 23-year-old Miles Bridges, half a season of Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington, Mason Plumlee, and Montrezl Harrell as his bigs, and made the playoffs. Borrego was cooking in Charlotte, but Michael Jordan was, had the inability to have patience and let him cook. So that was a misfiring, in my opinion. However, now that we're here, despite Mike Brown being my 3rd or 4th person on my list, there are positives. There's reasons why he's loved around the league. There's reasons why no one will ever say a bad word about this dude. It's not because he got blackmail on him. It's because people like this guy. People think he's a respectable dude who knows what he's talking about, who is going to inspire his team to play hard and play a good style of basketball. And I will say this 100 times until it hits everybody's minds. It's not about being pound for pound better than Tom Thibodeau. It's about being different, and it's about changing the style. So if you want to say pound for pound, Tom Thibodeau is a better coach than Mike Brown, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. But if you want to tell me that a different style is not what the Knicks needed, then I'll argue with you all day, all night. So I'm excited in the sense that Mike Brown has the potential to be a good coach, to work with these veterans, to develop the people who are younger and on the bench. But it wasn't my first choice. So I feel like both of those things had to be said.
Yeah. Before I go real quick, I just got to say shout out to the chat. We got over 126 people watching us collectively, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube and join the conversation. Hit that subscribe button and interact with the emojis that are in the chat. It helps out with the algorithm, apparently, on YouTube. But when it comes to Mike Brown's
Wait, hold on a second. What about MySpace, Friendster? What about you forget those fucking places, or we get trash?
Al is aging himself, showing us his age when it comes to MySpace and Skonex. Shout out to Pete Kennedy with the yeehaw.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to wrangle everybody out there on the internet tonight. Yo, get the MySpace numbers up, baby.
yeah, facts. Got to get the MySpace numbers. But shout out to my guy Chris K in the back, my man Daniel Bari, sports highlights, and my guy Jason 161 River Ave, future Yankees in the building as well. But when it comes to the Mike Brown hiring, I gotta agree with both Pete and Gallo to a degree. When you and I was talking about the different candidates, right? I had Taylor Jenkins ranked number 1. I had James Bringle there at number 2, and then Mike Brown was right there in the middle as a choice that, okay, well, if he's going to get interviewed, I wouldn't be mad at it, right? Mike Brown does come from the San Antonio coaching tree with Greg Popovich. He did help the greatest basketball player of all time get to the NBA Finals in 2007. That's LeBron James. You know, I just want to say that to piss Al off. But when it comes to Mike Brown, one stat that my guy Marshall Green, and I'm gonna bring it up right now, he put on Twitter something that I think will make all of us Knicks fans happy. When you look at Mike Brown and his time with the Sacramento Kings, when it comes to passes per game, last year the New York Knicks were 18th in passes per game. Under the Kings in 2022 to 2023, they were 4th with Mike Brown, and last year 2023 to 2024, they were 2nd with Mike Brown.
Well, I also saw he had the ability to create or take more of the burden off of their main ball handler, which was De'Aaron Fox, you know, his first 2 years there. And I think that's something that Jalen Brunson needs.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not going to go crazy. It's a wait and see approach. At the end of the day, it comes down to the players as well. The one thing I did like about Mike Brown, because the clips are out there, is he's going to chew these motherfuckers out in practice. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, he's fiery. He's going to get in your ass. Pause. He's going to, rip you a new one. Right. He's intense. Yeah, what's up? I didn't even have any liquor. I got a show. I got a show to do at 2 a.m. But there was reports that Tibbs wasn't practicing. The players weren't practicing as much. There's no excuse now. This is all on the players. All this upcoming season on the players. You can't say, well, Tibbs is running to the ground. This is on the players. And I talked about it on my show this morning. It's like, what starting lineup for this team do you want? I want the starting lineup that was from games 3 through the rest of the series versus the Pacers. That's the lineup I want. You have 3 defensive studs, Mitchell Robinson, Bridges, and OG, and you have Towns at the 4 where he belongs, and Brunson running the point. And then the second unit, you have Hart, McBride, Yavasili, and Jordan Clarkson to run. And then whoever you want to put as the 5th guy, center, to go with them, so be it. But I think this is going to be an exciting Knicks team. It's not. I don't think you're going to see dribble, shoot. I don't think you're going to see that like we saw with Brunson. I love Brunson, but the ball movement, like Hector brought out the stats, Mike Brown's going to bring that to this offense. This team desperately needs that.
I think what helped was going to help Mike Brown. I'll throw it over to Pete and Gallo real quick. One point I wanted to add on was going to help Mike Brown make that transition coming over here with the New York Knicks is that the offense that he had in Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis before they traded De'Aaron Fox was a great way or a great blueprint to see what he could do with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. How do they run that pick and roll? How do you maximize both Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson on the court at the same time?
Yeah, I don't hate that, and I love what Al said about the bench because when you think about it, Yasabelli, that's how you pronounce it, correct?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. Yabusele.
I call him Big G. I call him Big G.
I was calling him Yasa. I was trying to get away with that. Somebody called me out on it. My buddy's a Sixers fan, but the one thing he does is he's very similar to iHeart. But the one thing he does better than iHeart is he can shoot the 3. And I got to be honest. I mentioned Dennis Schroeder in the FIBA World Championships. I fell in love with this guy when he was playing for France and kind of dominating, and he got back into the league after that tournament. And he was a guy I was hoping the Knicks went after because we didn't have the backup big. This is obviously prior to Cat. So I loved it. And the Jordan Clarkson move on the minimum, you get another ball handler, you get a shooter. And I think the way Brown will run his offense, like Hector's saying, is they will be able to create multiple lineups that feed into each other. Like they will have Josh Hart can run with the second unit. If they have to bleed Josh Hart to the starting unit, they can fit Mitch into that second unit or OG or McHale. Like if they run Brunson with the second unit, it's a lot more versatile than just having Precious Achiuwa and Landry Shaman and Campaign to mix in there.
And I think if you think about what Knicks fans complained on last season was like, oh, our main guys are playing too much. They're going to be tired. They're going to get hurt. Da, 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 da. Obviously, they didn't get hurt. Like our guys were healthier than most in the playoffs, but you can tell with Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart and OG that the legs just weren't there, right? So now you look at Jordan Clarkson and Yabusele in this rotation, and Mike Brown's a coach who's going to use them. And that's super important. And shout out to not just the chat, but how about the four-legged friend in the screen right now?
Yes, Gizmo, what's up? Say what's up. Say what's up.
The building. Gizmo has entered the chat, and Gizmo wanted to say, folks, we got over 200 people in the building watching us right now. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, click the link in the bio, and jump on over to YouTube.
Yes, sir. So let me finish this point though on Jordan Clarkson, because I think something that not to be like, oh, I watch NBA League Pass, so I know more than you. It's not that I want to flex my weird League Pass hours because frankly,
you watch the Pistons. We know you watch the Pistons.
You know what? It's embarrassing. Like I watch the League Pass, and it's kind of gross the amount of weird games that I watch. But like I was making podcasts 2 years ago, asking for Jordan Clarkson to be a trade asset or a trade piece for the Knicks to look at, because I don't think people realize what he brings to the table. He's not just a simple off the bench heat check scorer. This guy is actually an offense creator where he is not only going to be able to get his own jump shot and also catch and shoot. He has two super important skills off the bench that this Knicks team desperately lacked. First, this guy gets to the free throw line. Jordan Clarkson, in the last few years in Utah with the ball handling role that he had, he averaged 4 free throws, 3.7 free throws, 4 free throws per game. Off the bench, I don't think people realize how good that is. Like Mikal Bridges to shoot 4 free throws in a game, like he must have had to shoot the technicals while somebody was, Jalen Brunson was on the bench because my guy don't get to the line, right? Besides Brunson and Cat, nobody's getting to the line. Jordan Clarkson off the bench 4 times a game, very impressive. On top of that, my guy creates for others. Over the last few years, 4.5 assists, 5 assists per game, 4 assists per game the last 3 seasons in Utah. Now, obviously, he was asked to do a lot in Utah off the bench, but people need to realize that in his bag for this Knicks team is to not just come off the bench and score, which is much needed, but to come off the bench and create for himself and others, which is super needed. Because Miles McBride, Josh Hart, and Jordan Clarkson could be on the floor together without Jalen Brunson, and you shouldn't feel like, oh my God, the world is burning. Like, nah, they're still good. And every team has lineups like that, and Clarkson's a key component to it.
And everywhere he's played, he's loved. I have a lot of buddies who are Lakers fans. They loved him when he was in LA.
Yeah,
it was similar to Josh Hart. Obviously, they're different players, but the people who I know that rooted for those teams they played for all were very happy with that player. So I'm excited for that. And it is a good, like you said, to have another guy who can move the ball.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get a score check right now. When it comes to the Yankees versus the Blue Jays, the Yankees suck right now, but they're tied with the Blue Jays 3-3. When it comes to the Mets
they
are
also suck right now.
On the you can say it. I didn't want to be the asshole, but in the bottom of the third, the Mets, they have a 1-0 lead against the Brewers. The Yankees suck more than the Mets right now. I think that's something we could all collectively agree on. But
no, I think both of your teams suck. We'll get into the Subway Series in a minute, but they both suck.
No, they do. But I just want to add, when it comes to Jordan Clarkson is a name that Knicks fans have been throwing out there in the ether, wanting to have on this team for years and years and years. There were rumbles at the trade deadline where Leon Rose was trying to acquire him, but they wanted some draft capital. They want him. They wanted Deuce McBride back in the trade, and he hung up the phone. Now you're able to get Jordan Clarkson without giving up any assets, without getting Deuce McBride basically for free. You're basically paying him just the minimum, and for the production that he's giving you, I think is a perfect trade-off. Like you said, we always like to say, what are the Jalen Brunson list minutes? Who is going to take control of the scoring? That's definitely Jordan Clarkson, but you also could rely on Jordan Clarkson to play major minutes alongside of both Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. So I like the move either way when it comes down to it. The glaring issue with the New York Knicks this postseason, it wasn't their health like it was last year. It was scoring off the bench, and they just added it. And when you talk about Big G, right, Yabusele, this is a guy, I love guys that were out of the league but had to fight and claw their way back into the league. It shows you how hungry they are, right? And we had somebody on our team, I know he was a veteran, in PJ Tucker, who did the same move, having to go overseas, work on his game before he came back stateside. And Big G did the same thing, doing that, and now he become a sniper from beyond the three-point line when it becomes as a stretch force. So I do like both of those both of those signings.
And the Knicks this is going to be the deepest team since the DiVincenzo team. Listen, you're going to have Kolek on his team. You got Dadier on his team. You got Jacques Portier on his team. That's 12 guys right there. And the kid they drafted as well. They got to, the Knicks are going to have a deep team. It's not going to be, we only have 7 guys. Let's run them into the ground. Mike Brown also is going to be to collab with the front office. A lot of people think that's a whole kiss ass to the front office thing. No, it's about player development as well. Something that was a problem on the Tibbs. So Mike Brown's going to play the bench. They're not going to be having the starters up there up 30 with 4 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter versus the fucking Hornets. Like, these guys are going to get playing time. The bench, these guys are going to sit. The starters will be sitting when they're up big, and he's going to show trust in the bench. That way, when the playoffs come, we're not in the same situation where this past season, which was a bunch of bullshit.
Now, Al, if I was going to tell you that one of Tyler Kolek, Pacom Dadier, or Ariel Hockford had an impact on next season in a positive way, where are you putting your money? Or who are you putting your money on? One of them had a good impact on the rotation. Who are you betting on?
Dadier.
I agree.
Same.
I agree.
Dadier.
I like Pacom. I like him.
Same.
He got size.
I think it'd be him. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
and the other thing I will say about
make up from years and years and years of failed French players with Pacom.
We thought French advice, Frank Ntilikina.
Me and Hector were live last week on TIO Al Friends right here on Oaktown Sports TV during the draft, the second round of the draft, and we had a major, we threw so much shade at the French by accident. We were like, anyone but a French guy, and they drafted Kobe Sanders 2 seconds. And we're like, all right, it's not a French guy, and then 30 seconds later comes, the Knicks trade the pick. They're getting French dude, the Aurora. Like, no!
Well, as a Puerto Rican with a French last name, because of you know what happened, I think I'm allowed to say whatever the fuck I want about them.
Shout out, yes, fair.
Well, I like all 3 guys to have a minor impact this year at some point, but I do think Hawk Purdy is going to get a real shot to crack the rotation, because even with Yabusele, you know what? Screw it, Yasa. I'm making that the thing, okay? Even with Yasa, he's kind of smaller, and I do think we will see at times, whether it's Mitch getting a breather or maybe Mitch is hurt, I do think Hawk Purdy's going to have a chance to solidify himself. But I agree. I think the highest ceiling is Dadier. And unless Tyler Kolek magically gets laterally more quick, I do not think he's ever really going to stick in the rotation.
Yeah. If I had to rank them, right? If the idea is to go with, like Al said, the lineup we saw in the postseason for those 3 games with Mitchell Robinson in the starting rotation, Josh Hart coming off of the bench, then I could see Hawk Purdy getting major minutes just because he has to be that backup center to come off the bench behind Mitchell Robinson or Cat, depending on who gets subbed out first. So I can see Hawk Purdy taking that leaps when it comes to minutes, but Pacom Dadier, his ceiling is higher than both of them.
Well, Yasa plays for the 4 and the 5. So in this NBA, that's what they talked about, is versatility. Hawk Porty is going to be playing when it's back-to-back nights and Mitchell Robinson can't play the second game. That's exactly what's going to happen. So they can save Mitchell Robinson. He's not going to be playing back-to-back, especially early in the season. It's not going to happen. So Hawk Porty is going to have a role in this team. It's sink or swim time, kid. Sink or swim. And now, before we go back to the Subway Series, let me ask you this, because I talked about it with Zoo. What is considered a disappointment and what's considered a successful season? Not winning a championship. And some fans are going to want Mike Brown fired if they get knocked out in the first round. I talked about it. The Knicks get knocked out in the first round. They're a high seed. I can see the Knicks saying, fuck it, you're done. Like, we're not doing this. Sure. If the Knicks get to the conference finals and lose in 6 again, is that considered a disappointment? If they get to the championship and lose, I can deal with that. It's considered a successful season. To me, you have to get to the finals. It's finals or bust. You got to take the next step. Every team has done it, from the Celtics to the Pacers. Now it's the Knicks' time to do it. It's the Knicks' time to get to the finals. With Halliburton being out, Tatum being out, I don't give a fuck about Miles Turner and his Lego picking ass on the Milwaukee Bucks being there. I don't give a fuck about that. The Pistons, they don't scare me. Pete's favorite team, closeted favorite team, pause. They don't scare me. The Cavs, I got to see them make it through the season and the playoffs healthy. They don't scare me. The Orlando Magic can be a pain in the ass because they play defense, and they got Tyus Jones, who I thought would be a perfect fit for them for years to play point. He's there. Desmond Bane, I don't care about the picks they gave up. It's a solid pickup for them. Too many picks, but it's a solid pickup for them. And he can shoot the 3, which is the biggest weakness for Orlando last season. So I think it'll be Knicks, Cavs, and Orlando. And I don't care about the Hawks. The Hawks got Porzingis. Last time I checked, he had diarrhea in his asshole. Like the Hawks don't fucking scare me. The Hawks don't scare me. So how would you rank those teams? Like the teams in the East? To me, I got Knicks, Cavs, Orlando, and that's the top 3. Fuck it, that's my top 3.
Well, I think to answer your first question, if we're saying what do we think is a disappointment for the Knicks, it is not getting at least to the finals. But for Mike Brown, it would be the conference finals. I think he's got to get back there at the minimum. I'm not going to sit here and demand that we fire another coach after the conference finals. But I do think that this window, not Jalen Brunson's window, with this current core is really this year and maybe the year after. I don't think they're going to go into the next offseason if they don't make it to the finals and say this core is going to get it done. And that doesn't mean Karl Anthony Towns gets traded, but maybe a Bridges, or they don't sign Bridges, or they trade OG, or they trade Josh Hart. I think that is what we would see. But for Mike Brown, if they lose the first round, I'm blowing the whole thing up outside of Brunson. I'm blowing it all up, because if you do that, that's a major regression for his job if that happens. And that's probably where I would absolutely be nuclear. But they have to get to the finals for me to look at this team as a failure of a season. For Mike Brown, if he gets back to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm letting him run it back at least another year with whatever the roster makeup is.
Yeah, no, Eastern Conference Finals is absolutely a must. Anything less than that is going to be a major disappointment. And I don't like to talk in like major absolutes when it comes to like that type of stuff, because you never know how it's going to break, right? Like if we're talking about a fully healthy team with the New York Knicks that absolutely, hit on all the cylinders that we asked for throughout the regular season, and the rotations made sense, the depth got better, the young guys developed, and they lose in the Eastern Conference to a Cavs team that's fully put together, fully healthy, and da-da-da. Like, that's different than going to the Eastern Conference Finals and losing to an Orlando Magic, more of an upstart team where you kind of fell apart, right? Like, those two things are not created equal. So, to me, you at least put the bar at Eastern Conference Finals, but Mike Brown and, like, the Knicks at large, I wouldn't call it, like, finals or bust or championship or bust, but when you have top 5 odds in the NBA to win the finals, and you have top 2 odds in the Eastern Conference to win the Eastern Conference, you better be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, that's the guaranteed must.
Yeah.
Anything after that is still kind of like moment to moment to me. So I'm going to stick with Gallo's kind of take on that. It's got to be Eastern Conference Finals for Mike Brown, but you also have to see the process, right? Like, we complained about Tibbs for months, not 4 of us, like not each of us individually. The larger group of Knicks fans complained about Tibbs for years, let alone the last few months of last season. And whether they got to the Eastern Conference Finals or not, like, they didn't care, right? So to me, there's a lot more context to it, but Eastern Conference Finals has to be in play.
For me, I got to agree with both Ant and Pete on this one. If the Knicks get embarrassed in the first round against the Pistons or against the Orlando Magic, you got to blow it up. You got to hit that reset button. I'm sorry to be the doomer here, but if that happens, you got to hit that button. But I expect Mike Brown, I think it will be an unrealistic expectation to expect him to come in and he wins a championship or he goes to or he wins the finals in his first year as a head coach. No, I just want to see us get back to the Eastern Conference. Let us be more aggressive in the postseason, and whoever we match up with, like Pete said, the odds are there. And if we're able to get it, we're able to get it. If not, copy. As long as we get back to the Eastern Conference. When you look at the standings in the East, I got Knicks 1, Cavs 2. I'm going to throw the Pistons there just because they was there. But the Orlando Magic, and I know, Al, I know you said you're not scared of the Atlanta Hawks, but I think the Atlanta Hawks may be a very scary, sleepy team. And with Tyrese Halliburton out the picture, the original villain of the New York Knicks, Trae Young, is trying to make his return revenge tour on us in Madison Square Garden. So I got
that bald motherfucker.
That's the top 5. I don't care about anybody else, but that's the top 5 that I got in the Eastern Conference next year. Shout out to my guy Subway to shave my eye, Anthony Rivera. What it do? Salute, salute, salute. I'll be on later on at 10 o'clock tonight. We're doing a cross stream. It's going to be here, Uptown Sports TV, and my man Brian Fonseca over there. We're going to do a cross stream. Me and Grace, the 2 Yankee fans, and we got Ant and Brian as the 2 Met fans.
Oh, Brian's a Met fan. Okay. Okay. I know I like them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I feel the same way. Let me ask you guys this question before we switch topics. If the Knicks do get bounced in the first round, let's say it happens, do you think that they end up again revisiting the Jason Kidd stuff and Jason Kidd does try to get out of Dallas? Now, I'm not all high on Jason Kidd. I take it or leave it. It's not a big deal to me. I've mentioned the story on the radio before, and I got a little deeper with it, that one of the starters on that team that Mike Woodson coached said, and I quote, Mike Woodson's the stupidest coach I ever played for, and that Jason Kidd was the real coach of that team. And what happened? Jason Kidd was the coach of the Nets the following season.
Yeah.
So
it was Amon Shumpert that put his name on it too. Like on the
he said it too?
Yeah, he kind of, and Melo didn't push back on it. So
yeah.
Well, then I don't want to say who said it. It wasn't one of them. I'm glad that they put their name on it, so it confirmed the story I've been telling for years. I've said this for years, and people thought, you're just making stuff up. No, a starter on that team said that.
We all know you have connection with Marty.
I don't have a lot.
Right? I know you have connection
with Marty. No. Ron Baker, bro. Ron Baker. That is.
Shout out to Ron Baker, bro. That's dope. What a throwback. Wait, I'm glad you said that though, Al. Like brought that up that point, because I think that it's important for fans to remember that like the coach 99% of the time is really just a liaison. And Chris in the chat let us know that Clark Schmidt is taking the right forearm tightness, which are 2 of the scariest things you can talk about in sports, frankly. That's tough.
Well, be real quick, because Keith sent me a tweet saying when I said this is torture watching Chris Bassett, he said, you need him. No, Keith, you need Chris Bassett on the Yankees now. Shout out to Keith.
Shout out to Keith. I'll be producing for Keith on Monday evening, by the way. On
Wait, are you doing Saturday night?
No, I'm producing Monday though for Keith.
Fuck, I'm doing 8 to 1 Saturday night. I don't know who my fucking producer is.
That's a huge blow, because that is he was pitching well. Like he was.
He was.
His last start he had made one bad pitch at the end of the start. Otherwise, it would have been a really great start from him. And that's this fucking season in baseball.
Dude, the pitching injuries are out of control. But wait, I know we're about to switch to baseball, so let me just finish this thought real quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
We're talking about like coaches in basketball, and I think people put so much emphasis on every single coach's decision and et cetera, and obviously people do it in all sports. But in basketball, like this roster for the New York Knicks is the floor. The culture that Tom Thibodeau created over the last few years is the floor. So, like, this team is and should win 55 games this year. No matter who.
Easy.
Like, the 4 of us could combine to be the head coach for the New York Knicks, and they should still be expected to win 55 games. That's how good the roster is. And when your roster is a little bit older, like the Knicks are, not that they're old, but they're all, like, adult, veteran type people, like, that the coach, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, because it obviously does, but the roster sets the floor. The coach adds sprinkles on top. And hopefully I was about to say Mike Woodson because we were just talking about him. Mike Brown can get some sprinkles on there and get a little creative juices flowing for this roster and for some creative ideas on the offensive side and the defensive side, et cetera. But this roster is what's going to carry them to 50-plus wins and a top 2 or 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. The coach is extra. That's the extra part.
Is it chocolate sprinkles or rainbow sprinkles? We need to let's clarify the sprinkles.
Chocolate.
If you call them Jimmy's, I got problems with you.
I like the chocolate.
What's Jimmy's? I don't even know that.
You ever heard someone call them Jimmy's? Oh, let me
No,
get the
they should be
Jimmy's.
thrown in jail.
That's not right.
No,
that's not right. People shouldn't call them Jimmy's.
It's not fucking sprinkles.
That's a Staten Island thing. That's
No. That's like some Jersey. Don't come at me like that. Don't do that to me. I might be in Jersey right now, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a chocolate sprinkles is number one, but I can't say much because everything in my life is chocolate. So I'll just say But to say one thing though about the kid stuff, I do not think that he's leaving the Mavs. Like, I think we look at the Mavs as this huge rebuilding project, and they add some pieces. They still have Klay Thompson. They're gonna get
Cooper Flag
back mid-season. Anthony Davis should be healthy. They get Cooper Flag.
Wait, whoa. What? Anthony Davis should be what?
I think he'll be healthy for at least a portion of the season.
I think he will also.
They're not going to fire him. Like, he's not going to, and I don't think he's going to, I don't think he's going to, like, I don't think he's going to leave that situation and then put more pressure on himself, unless the Knicks roster is ever changing next year. If they were to, like, crash out and lose in the first round and they make these wholesale changes. I think the guy to watch is the guy in Houston. Like, Udoka, like, we all see what Kevin Durant does to coaches. He's the only one who's not rumored to be really locking in a contract extension.
He did. He just signed it. He did. No? Didn't he get an extension? He did.
Well, I don't think it's official. Hold on, wait. I'm going to look it up just to double check.
Well, then
I think it's official. Yeah.
I'm going to shut up.
Maybe Chris Finch, you might be talking. Maybe Chris Finch. Maybe that's that one.
That's what I meant. Chris Finch, Udoka.
Yeah.
Like,
now one
I mixed it up.
White, no big deal.
Within the last week, it was finalized that Ime Udoka is signing a 8-year deal with not 8 year, a 4-year deal with the Rockets, an extension.
Well, then the Knicks are getting everyone paid because Kidd might sign an extension. Donovan already signed an extension, and then this guy.
Well, those two I couldn't understand. Billy Donovan and Quinn Snyder, I did not understand. Like when they lost me with those two. I'm sorry, they lost me when they.
Well, Donovan, I think because he's New York guy, CAA ties.
I was just gonna add, if you take a step back, right, and not as Knicks fans, not as content creators, not as people, as people that's just cover the sport, right? You take a step back and you surveillance the situation. When you look at the rumors, the rumor for both Kidd and Udoka is if you get Kidd, you could trade for Giannis. You're gonna have to give up assets to get for Giannis. If you get this guy, Udoka, you're able to get KD. You're gonna have to give up assets to trade. Those are moves that Isaiah Thomas would have done. Those aren't moves that we should do right now in 2025. Those were yesteryear Knicks when we tried to trade for Eddie Curry, when we tried to trade for Stephon Marbury. Those moves did not work. So the fact that we went with Mike Brown, a coach that is known to run both offensive and defensive schemes, utilize an entire bench, not just stick with 6 or 7 guys, that's the way you go, because the days of putting super teams together or trading for these superstars to try to win a championship, those days are over. Also, that's done. OKC won. OKC, they gave you the new formula of how to win a championship. The Boston Celtics, they gave you a formula of how to win a championship. And the days of the super teams are done. So I'm happy that we went with Mike Brown and not with Kidd or Udoka and trying to trade for Giannis or Kevin Durant and give up assets and give up picks. I think that was senseless.
Let me ask you this one. What about the dude from Toronto who's gone? If the Knicks fail this year, could you see them bringing him in to be the president of basketball operations? Because the Knicks wanted him for a while. Yeah.
And get rid of Leon Rose? Leon Rose.
I want Dolan, how he is. That's what I'm saying. Wow. If they get bounced early.
I don't think, and he has said in the past that he doesn't want to be in New York.
Yeah.
Okay, well, peace out.
I also think he was a major part of that lawsuit with the Raptors, but it also would be super Dolan to like have this sick fetish of like signing a guy who tried to sue you.
Sick fetish. That's hilarious.
When it's all said and done, sorry, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say really quickly on Udoka. I think there are about 5 coaches in the NBA right now who have like an outsized impact on how the roster performs. I do think Udoka is one of them. Frankly, I really do. I think he's that good of a coach. I would say like Eric Spoelstra. I would throw him. Steve Kerr deserves that respect. Rick Carlisle obviously deserves that respect now after what he just did. Like the list isn't that long of coaches who are making a massive impact. That's why Doc Rivers is already one of the most tenured coaches in Milwaukee. So it feels like he got there yesterday, and he's already one of the most tenured coaches in the NBA because they are semi-replaceable in a way, right? So, Udoka is one of the guys I do actually really appreciate his style, and obviously what happened in Boston. I guess it don't stay in Boston because he had to leave.
I think that's a major red flag because you want to talk about fumbling bags. That is an all-time bag fumble.
Yeah, that's his championship, frankly. And Missoula's a sick fuck.
We're all 90s babies here. Al, 80s baby, but still falls into this category. Like
no, I am no. I am late 70s.
I'm 89. I'm 89.
I'm late 70s.
That's fine.
Go fuck yourself, Gallo. Go fuck yourself, bro. My shit still works. My shit still works, Gallo. Go fuck yourself.
That's the top of the mountaintop, though. That's like every 90s movie I watched. Well, shout out to TIO.
Yeah. And we all know that when Al was born is when area codes got introduced into society. That's when Al was born.
It was James Naismith and Al who came up with basketball. So
yeah, damn right. And Bart Starr was the one who slapped me on the ass when I was born. So it's all good. It's all good. So real quick, Knicks predictions. Right now, I did on the radio this morning. My prediction is, and I'm sticking by it, the Knicks are going to the finals. I'm not saying they win the championship, but if there's ever a season where it looks like the door is wide open, this is the season. The Knicks to the finals. They're going to the finals this year.
The Knicks are winning the finals. Jalen Brunson MVP.
All right. All right. See? Put on your thinking cap.
So, listen to me here. I would love to tell you guys that the New York Knicks are winning the NBA Finals, but it's just not happening. I think they can make the NBA Finals, but there's a team out there, the Denver Nuggets, who I already put some money on to win the NBA Finals next season. Not only do they have the best player on the planet, they just bolstered their lineup at an insane level. Adding Cam Johnson for Michael Porter Jr., Jonas Valanciunas, Tim Hardaway Jr., get back Bruce Brown. Did I mention they have the best player on the planet? Come on. I'm not betting the New York Knicks to win the.
I thought he had another hat, a different hat.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed it. DJ Khaled, another one, another hat.
I'm not betting the New York Knicks to win the finals, but I do think they make the finals. I'm taking the Nuggets to win the finals.
Knicks Nuggets finals, because I did mention to Zoo, I said, everybody's talking about OKC. I said, I think the Denver Nuggets are going to the finals as well next year. So you got a Knicks Nuggets finals next season. That book it. I gotta see what the odds are on that one. Knicks Nuggets finals.
I would say that as well. Knicks Nuggets NBA finals. And there's a player that's still out there that has ties to Leon Rose, who's a veteran, and the Knicks, they do have a little bit of veteran exception left.
Oh, and they do.
Maybe if you can, just a little bit, it'll be a match. Gallo knows exactly where I'm going. That's why he's shaking his head.
Dude.
I think I know as well.
But if CP3 wants to
okay. Now who I thought.
If Chris Paul, you talking about LeBron? You talking about LeBron?
I'm talking about Westbrook.
I thought Westbrook.
No. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I'd rather.
Neither would I.
But if CP3 would want to come off the bench for the New York Knicks to try to get a championship with this roster, you add Chris Paul and the pedigree that he could bring, the leadership. You talk about Jason Kidd being an extension and being the true coach. Chris Paul could be that same way, right? Mike Brown, first year with the New York Knicks. Chris Paul, a veteran point guard, somebody who's respected in this league by a lot of people, hated by some. But this is a guy who can be an extension of Mike Brown on the court with that group of guys.
All right, so we got our predictions on that. Now, we're going to switch gears to the Subway Series. I know a lot of people are not pumped up for it. Because since my birthday, so I take full responsibility for New York baseball sucking ass since then.
Unreal. Terrible.
I am. I'm still excited for it. You know, it sucks that the games are in the daytime, I love the Friday night games being at night. The energy is unmatched. The first game at night is the energy is crazy. The last game at night, the energy is crazy. Unfortunately, all these games are going to be played in the afternoon. Ticket prices, by the way, are dropping. So if you want to go, tickets have dropped. I'm still pumped for the series. You know, the Mets are going to. We don't know who they're throwing out Friday. Sproat might pitch Sunday. That's been reported. We don't know what's going on with the staff. There's going to be TBDs. The Yankees are going to have Rodon and Fried pitching against the Mets as well. At the end of this weekend, one fan base will be able to chirp again because right now both fan bases can't talk shit at all. But I'm pumped up for the series. Soto didn't have a big series in the Bronx. You best believe this time he will have it. A big series versus the Yankees, and the Mets will take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. Oh, there it is. It's is this real?
Hangman.
Hangman.
Why I saw Sprout Sunday, so it's not going to be Sprout. Oh boy, never mind. The Yankees are sweeping the Mets this weekend.
I thought Montas was good in his first start. I thought he was good in his first start.
Did you see his second start?
His second start, he was tipping his pitches. So we'll see what happens.
Investigate his ass.
Yeah, well, the Mets are taking 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, so go fuck yourself. I don't care who's pitching.
I am not pumped up for this series. This is gonna be the worst baseball weekend in New York history. Like we are just subjected to torture. This is gonna be awful. These teams stink right now.
Yeah,
I hate both of them equally.
Yeah,
listen. I am. You know what? I want to go back to the days where we were arguing. Was Juan Soto having fun? Like I want to go back to the days.
Yeah,
where the Mets had the best
fucking
ERA. Like
the
Yankees. The Yankees are Max Fried and whatever they get out of Aaron Judge. The Mets are Juan Soto right now, and you know if Brandon Nimmo gets a hold of one,
apparently Brandon Nimmo,
yeah. But honestly, I think that whoever, it's kind of like, I'm going to reference soccer here. It's kind of like a derby in soccer where if you get off the schneid, you see it a lot. Teams win their rivalry match and then go on a run. Whoever wins this, it could be exactly what that team needs. And whoever loses it, like they're in trouble. Not just sports radio, the internet, all of it is going to be pouring down on them. And hopefully it's not the Mets.
In a world where the Mets and Yankees are both 10 games above 500, I mean, granted, the Yankees could be the Mets could be. I'm sorry, the Yankees could be 9 games if they lose tonight. The Mets would be 10 if they lose tonight. Like we're miserable going into a Subway Series where both teams are double-digit games above 500. That's crazy to me. But that highlights how weird and atrocious these last few weeks have been for both teams. Like you can't talk to a Yankee fan without them freaking about Aaron Judge. I don't know why Al's freaking out with 2 hands up in the air.
He just threw the ball straight to throw him out at home. Oh yes! Put him down at home. He threw it straight.
Damn, you must have cable, bro. You must have cable because my stream hasn't even put the ball in play yet. But like we're sitting here freaking out about these 2 teams. They're both double-digit games above 500. I feel like I'm on crazy pills trying to rationalize why it's okay and there's a lot of time left. But every single time that they lose, it feels like they're never going to get a hit again. Every time, for both teams, every time that they give up a bunch of runs, it feels like their pitchers are never going to show up again. And that's a feeling of like, I don't even know, despair that we're feeling here as fans that I just don't understand. And I can't wrap my head around it because I so desperately want to just remember the times where I saw, if I wasn't watching a game, I see an update on my phone. Oh, the Mets are up 4-1. Great. Another day where we're going to win. The Yankees, Aaron Judge and home run. They're up 4-1. It's just been chaotically horrible for both teams. And you can't talk to a baseball fan in New York who is remotely happy right now. I think this weekend is going to at least bring out a chippiness for both sides, like a little bit of extra juice in this rivalry here. And I finally just saw the Pete Alonso throw to home. Now that's how delayed my stream is.
We're in the 7th inning already.
But no, I'm being serious. I do think that this weekend, no matter who wins 2 out of 3 or somebody sweeps, whatever, like the energy from this series should propel, I think, both teams to get that little fire in their ass again.
Well, I will say this. I do think that they both, it's not Like last year, I was never worried about missing the playoffs. This year, I'm not worried about missing the playoffs, but the goal wasn't just to get to the playoffs. And that goes for both teams. I mean, the Yankees go into every season with this World Series or bust mentality. The Mets have to start thinking like that. And I'm not saying that it's an absolute failure if they don't win the World Series, but I'm not looking to just make the first weekend of the playoffs. So that's where my fears come from. I don't think they're going to lose enough that they're going to miss the playoffs, but it's that I don't think that they right now, as currently constructed, and that includes health for both teams, that they are a World Series, like a legit World Series contender. And part of it is the deterioration of the health of the team, and also part of it is a lot of guys have come back to earth.
I say this, right, with the Yankees. The Yankees were 13-14 in the month of June and 0-2 in the month of July. Looking like they're going to be 0-3 because they're losing right now 5-3 against the Blue Jays. They're about to get swept in 4 games. It's crazy.
My sleeper team before the season, the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Your favorite of all the teams.
Canada.
I wish I was living there. Anywho,
Too many French up there.
Might be safer.
I know. When you look at
Toronto's
it, right?
beautiful.
When you're struggling, when you're playing bad baseball, the tiny errors, the tiny mistakes, they stand out tremendously like a sore thumb. Devin Williams throwing the ball in the dirt yesterday, I don't blame him for that. I blame the way that catchers nowadays are setting up with that one leg. They're not getting in the dirt to block the pitch. I don't care what catchers behind home plate, JT Realmuto, whatever Gold Glove catcher. No one's making that play with the ball in the dirt. I don't blame Devin Williams for that either. I blame just catching in general. But when you have Anthony Volpe making mistakes out there, when you have DJ LeMahieu, who looks like he is lost in the field defensively, he just does not have that. And every team knows that. And the scouting report is out there. Oh, if DJ LeMahieu is the cutoff guy, you take that extra base and you go from second to third on a single. You try to get there because just run on DJ LeMahieu. He's not going to throw you out. And the fact that the Yankees are trying to pull the wool over our eyes and try to force feed us DJ LeMahieu right now, as a fan and as a content creator, is very frustrating knowing that if the analytics show you that Jazz Chisholm is a better defender and closer Gold Glover at second base, and DJ LeMahieu, it's an average defender at third base, why are you forcing Jazz to play his worst position at third base and still having DJ LeMahieu be a liability out there at second base? Anthony Volpe in his past 50 at-bats, he is 7 for 50 in that time frame. He's batting 150, and in that span, he is leading all of the major leagues in errors. Not just shortstops, not just for his position, everybody out there. So when you look at this Yankees team is a void of having somebody who could step up that's not named Aaron Judge. This past month, Paul Goldschmidt, he hit below 150. Everybody was raving about Paul Goldschmidt, founding the fountain of youth. He hit 150 this past month. So we could pick and point at and pick on Anthony Volpe. You could pick on DJ LeMahieu. You could talk about Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. This is a collective failure from top to bottom. Not just one person deserves the blame for this.
So who do you want at third? That's the question. If you're going to put Jazz back at second, realistic option, who do you want at third? Some fans want Nolan Arenado, but the Cardinals are still in it. They want Eugenio Suarez. D-backs are still in it. Like P. Brian Hayes. The Pirates will probably get rid of him. Like, who do you want at third realistically to help the Yanks, Heck?
The Yankees right now, ever since Oswaldo Cabrera, he went out.
Who's the All-Star? Are you going to say a name? Who's the All-Star you were about to say?
I was about to say Gleyber. I miss you, Gleyber.
Hey, All-Star Gleyber Torres.
I miss you. Fuck you, Al. The Yankees, since Oswaldo Cabrera got injured, the Yankees are 7-19. That's their record without Oswaldo.
Oh my
Damn.
God!
Let that shit sink into your head.
Oh shit, Marcus Stroman's pitching tomorrow against the Mets.
Well, I love Cabrera. I actually think that Suarez could be a legitimate option for them because that team has enough offense. They need more help in the bullpen. They probably view the starting rotation as a gap. So maybe the Yankees there's a trade partner there. They're also in it, but they could be a team that I could totally see falling out of it. The Cardinals right now are more in it than the Diamondbacks. The only reason why I don't think Arenado's a possibility. And Brian Hayes, if you did go after him, he is a glove. Like if he doesn't hit, you're still getting a Gold Glove caliber third baseman.
I'll take that.
Yes, and my problem is with these two teams. When I look at what the Mets have wrong, I think it's more dire than what the Yankees have wrong. If Clark Schmidt is seriously injured, then talk to me tomorrow or whenever we get the results. But I think the Yankees are every team needs bullpen help, so I hate saying that.
Yeah.
But if they find a third baseman or middle infielder, I think the Yankees are in a better position. Where the Mets right now, they get nothing at a third, they get nothing at a second. It looks like the squirrel bet is off right now. Center field is a problem. DH is a problem. The rotation. If Minaya and Senga come back, I'm okay with the rotation. The bullpen is a problem because they've had to burn these guys too much. And I just feel like there's a lot of gaps there. Again, both of these teams are playing October baseball, but the goal was never to just make it. They have to get farther than the wild card of the division series, in my opinion.
Well, Brooks Raley's around the corner. Senga might be back before the All-Star break. He's making a start in the minors. Manaya's got loose body fluids. I think he'll be back after the break. I think they'll take it easy after the break. I saw the face, Pete. I was expecting loose body fluids.
Sounds like Comic-Con.
But I'm not worried. It's the bullpen I'm worried about. That Daniel Nunez is probably gonna be done for a year. Is Tommy John? Paul Blackmon IL. The Mets are gonna have to make some moves when it comes to the bullpen. I'm not worried about the starting rotation, especially when the reinforcements get back. Senga was pitching like an ace. Senga is an ace. Just got to stay healthy. He had a freak accident because of Pete Alonso's bad throw, and he bailed him out by saying, "No, I felt it pop before that." No, you didn't. That's bullshit. You were just saving Pete Alonso because he's fragile. But it's not the pitching I'm worried about. I'm disappointed with this Met team and the hitting with runners in scoring position, which was supposed to be the fucking strength of this team. And if it's not, everybody, it's Lindor, it's Alonso, it's Soto, and then what? Nimmo. Who else? No one else.
And right now, Nimmo and Alonso are the only guys who actually hit with runners in scoring position. Like Lindor hasn't hit this year with runners in scoring position. Soto hasn't hit with runners in scoring position. Vientos has given us nothing. Beatty, it's too streaky, although he's looked better this year. Like they are when I view Torrens and Taylor as not a problem with the lineup, I expected the other 7 guys to hit. And we're only getting 1 or 2 guys. Right now, it's Nimmo and Soto. Earlier in the year, it was Lindor and Alonso. If all 4 of those guys are firing on all cylinders, I still think they're a bat short. Because can we honestly say we trust Vientos? I'm not giving up on him, but
what a disappointment, man! Yeah, what a disappointment this year.
I can't say I trust him. If Alvarez, I don't need to see Alvarez hitting home runs. I need to see him actually work a count and catch a ball behind the plate. Everyone's posting these highlights of him hitting home runs. Is his approach any different? So right now, I'm very down on their offense.
Well, they changed his stance in the minor leagues, and look what he's doing. What does that say about this hitting? The 2 hitting coaches we got in this team. Alvarez went down there and already he's making it. I know it's the quality of the pitching is different. I understand it, but he changed his stance and he looks like the Alvarez that we loved when he first came up. It's an embarrassment that this team is not hit with runners in scoring position, and the pitching staff has carried them most of the season. It's time for this lineup to wake the fuck up as well and start carrying his pitching staff.
Now, and the thing I keep thinking about with who the Yankees and Mets are both trying to target here is beggars can't be choosers. I keep thinking that because I heard some Yankee fans talk about Eugenio Suarez oh yeah, but he's not really a great third baseman.
He's going to the Dodgers now.
Is he wait, that just came out?
No. With Max Muncy's injury, I said it last night. He's going to be a Dodger. I'm sorry.
Arizona's not doing business with them. No, Arizona's not doing business with them.
Either way, though, you can't. Beggars can't be choosers. All right, you don't got a good third baseman right now anyway.
Got 26 bombs.
Take somebody who can hit. You know what I mean? If DJ Mayhew all of a sudden, he still kind of stinks in the field because he's old and slow, but he starts hitting bombs, you're going to be all right, listen, his defense not that good, but he's hitting. So, you're not going to trade for somebody because he's not a great third baseman, but he mashes? No, take advantage of your advantages. Both of these teams got to get whatever they can get that will be positive to the lineup or to the field if they're just a fielder, not a hitter, whatever it may be. But beggars can't be choosers, man.
I got somebody that I heard yesterday because I was there for the doubleheader. I was there at 9 in the goddamn morning all day. But the rumbles around the Mets yesterday were the Mets are calling and about Aroldis Chapman.
I heard that one too. I have this thing when it comes to guys that I've done what he's done in his
Yeah.
past. I wasn't listen. Everybody loves Jose Reyes, but what he did was a dick move as well. Francisco Rodriguez. Everybody loved K Rod, and he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
I soured on him. If you put it's just I don't know if the player himself he's still throwing 101, but it'll be real hard for me to sit there and be like like for him because honestly, I know people make mistakes, but I just feel a certain way about that. But I heard the Chapman thing too.
I just gotta ask, what the fuck was that sound that you just made? What was?
That's what I want to do. That's it, bro. That's it.
I am also afraid of going after these closers, and maybe JJ Putz lives in the back of my head, but I don't.
Oh, God.
Putz, bro.
Yeah,
JJ Putz. I know. Wow.
I'm afraid of going after these
Showing your
closers.
own
The guy doesn't want to be a setup man. It's him and Kenley Jansen. I keep hearing their names. Neither of them wanted to be setup men.
Nah.
They
Yep.
want the closer's position. The only reason why Clase is even a thought in my mind is because he's young and it gives you a security blanket for Diaz. But I'm not thinking about next year. I'd rather go out and get an elite guy who could give you a good seventh inning or a good eighth inning or a good. I think the Mets have good bullpen arms. They just need to, Brooks Raley will help. They probably need another arm or two to alleviate the work that Brazaban, Stanek, and Breed Garrett have to do. And now all three of those guys, their confidence is probably shot.
Oh God! Is it foul?
What just happened?
Foul ball. Yeah. Reese Hoskins. He was flexing and posing. You piece of shit. Foul ball.
God, I hate him. I fucking hate that guy.
Wait. Here's the replay.
He's got to be. He's one of the biggest douchebags in the sport.
Thanks for ruining it for Pete because he has a 3-minute delay.
Yo, you know what? It's lightning and thunder down here where I'm at, bro. My dish.
Where are you at? North Dakota? I see the cowboy hat and American flags.
I actually am out in North Dakota. No, I got the game on my phone here, and Reese Hoskins ain't even up yet. What are you guys talking about? No, I'm just kidding. It's lightning and thunder out here like crazy down in by the shore in New Jersey. And my dog has been running up and down from the basement for the last 10 minutes because she don't like the thunder. She's scared. But now the thunder apparently passed over Citi Field and hopefully not by the name of Reese Hoskins. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, well, but I mean, listen, they need arms. I think Stearns is probably more likely to make a move on a bullpen arm than he is a starter or a bat because he probably feels, let's see if we get guys back healthy. Let's see what Mauricio, Vientos, and Beatty end up being. And then making a move on that. I think we'll see him, whether it's through the waiver wire or trade or whatever, international market. He'll bring in a relief pitcher somehow. They're running through them right now. I want to know what the tally is of how many relief pitchers they've used in just the.
I know it. It's 30. The Mets just brought up 2 more pitches. I think they said 34. It would be this year 34 pitches. Double play. Reese Hoskins, suck a fat one, bitch.
Oh, I'm locked in. I just saw it too. I'm locked in, baby. My stream caught up. Let's go.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Double play. All right.
This is hilarious. I love it. And like Future said, man, Hector being the only Yankee fan seems a bit outnumbered. Absolutely. But I love it. I just gotta say,
I've been called the Yankee fan on the fan, so.
Yeah, and Pete's a closeted Piston fan. We got 409 people in the building with us rocking out. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, if you're watching on Twitch, because we're on Twitch.
Where's he going?
He's going in the closet because he's a closeted Piston fan. If you're watching on Twitch, click the link in the bio. Jump on over to YouTube as Pete Kennedy is trying to find his Knicks fandom.
It's Kate Cunningham. Kate Cunningham shirt.
Yo, my bad, guys. I had to just go find my Pistons gear real quick. I'm out here with the hat on.
Well, at least you know how to wear the hat. Unlike Evan with the bucket hat at Citi Field. At least you know how to wear the hat properly. Any of you guys going to Subway Series or not?
I'm working the Sunday game.
I might be there Sunday. I might. Very, very a 45% chance right now.
Well, let me know
I'll be
if
there.
you're on Sunday.
I'll be there tomorrow for the Strowman start, and then I'll be off the grid once. I'll be off the grid after my show on Saturday night, so I won't be doing the show next week. I'm going on vacation. It's a much needed one. You guys know the deal behind the scenes. I'm not going to talk about it. I definitely need a little vacation. Be off the grid, completely logging off Twitter, logging off Facebook, which I'm not even on, but I'll log off that anyway. Log off Messenger, log off MySpace, Friendster, Pony Express, all that other shit. I'm just logging off of all of it, and I won't be back until the following week is when I'll log back in and all my stuff. So you guys hold it down next Thursday if you do the show without me. But I'll be off the grid.
I want to spoil it for the people in the chat. Me, Pete, and Gallo, we put money together. We're sending Al to Japan so he could have his first anime experience. Yes. That way, when he comes back, he is ready to do the deep dives, anime conversations at the end of the show.
And hentai.
Well, he's
also
that's actually the one he is familiar with.
Yeah, we actually sent him there because we need Labubus and we need
we need hentai Labubus.
I'll be scouting Japanese pictures and for David Stearns as well. So I'll be doing that and while checking out the nightlife in Japan.
Before we get out of here, right? Just one more topic I want to ask you guys. We can make it real fast. When it comes to the whole betting situation, right? Malik Beasley in the NBA now with Luis Ortiz, Gallo's favorite baseball player of all time. The integrity of the sport. Everybody want to keep on talking about the integrity of the sport. I think the integrity of the sport was sold when the league got in bed with the gambling, and started promoting it. I'm a fan of gambling as long as it's done responsibly. But when you have easy access to the gambling and there's no oversight to really see what's really going on, you're going to have the Malik Beasley situations and you're going to have the Luis Ortiz situations. The fact that Malik Beasley, Malik Beasley, he owes like over $6 million, even more than that, 12 million. Now with like all the penalties add to it, it's crazy that that's even allowed.
Well, I listen, I'm not worried about the integrity of the sport. I do think this kind of is outlier if they could find it. We've all worked in this industry. I mean, I worked for MLB and they told us before gambling was legal in New York that, hey, if you gamble in New Jersey, we'll know. And they did know, like I saw guys get in trouble. But I'm also used to it. I watch soccer. They've had gambling they've had bookmakers in the stadiums in England, in Europe for the longest time. Half of their sponsorship now is gambling. I don't worry about the integrity. I will say this: fuck Luis Ortiz. If I miss the playoffs by a couple categories, I'm coming for you, bro.
Sounds personal.
Everton Gallo has stake on their jersey, bro.
Yeah. What is the Bet 360 or whatever? They've been a major thing. I like
on
and
their
also,
jersey. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Juventus. If a few of you know what Juventus is, they got relegated and defunded because they got caught fixing matches. So I do. Yeah, so I don't think we've reached that point. I don't think we ever will. Or we won't know. I'm not too worried about the integrity of it. I'd rather gambling be legal because I think it's a lot harder for you to end up with shady situations. Like we all know people who have been in bad situations because they had to go offshore or through some sketchy guy named Sal. I'm okay with it. And Malik Beasley, I don't know what the Luis Ortiz story is going to turn into. I know what's his name, Porter. It was more a illegally thing. The Malik Beasley thing, like, you're dumbass, dude. Like, you got paid, you were gonna get paid again, and you did this. Like, I don't really feel bad for him, and I think like the league, it was very easy what he was doing to figure out.
Dude, he owes $25,000 to a barber, something like that. That is crazy. So fucking barber, that is nuts. You about to get paid, bro? Do you think? Because the videos are out there that people think Gary Payton, the second as well, gambling. Malik Beasley, people think he dropped that ball against the Knicks on purpose in the playoffs. Hey, I don't give a fuck, but Knicks advanced because of it. I hope more people bet when they play the Knicks. And he was my number one target with Kelly Oubre Jr. going into free agency. Thank God the Knicks didn't get in bed with that dude.
I just want to say, like, I don't want people to think that I don't like the gambling. I do like the gambling. What I would like to see is it's more regulation, and I would like the league to take more of a hands-on approach with these not even the league, the Players Association, the union, right? Because you can have it set up easily. When a player comes into the league, right, he gets his contract. He's a part of the union. They pay union dues for healthcare. They pay union dues for this, that, and third. Pay union dues so when the guys are coming into the league, they have money managing managers there to help them, and investment planners, people to help them with their money.
Do, heck. They do. They have seminars and all this stuff, and they shit on them.
Seminars is different than having someone have an automatic person assigned to you. That's different.
Okay, gotcha.
I want the union to have a fee come out, copy. Get an agency out there. The union can hire an agency that they work exclusively with. So when a guy is coming into the league, you want your new agents to gain some experience. They could gain experience by working with a rookie that's coming into the league. Now they have somebody in their corner to help them manage their money. I just want to see more regulations with it and more responsibility. That's all I'm calling for. Because again, I don't want to be the person screaming from the porch trying to stop people from doing what they're doing. But if I go to the ATM at my bodega and my limit is only $200 or $300, I take out. I don't know why it's okay for me to go to the casino and I could take out $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000. I think that's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree with that. And the only thing I want to add on the entire sports conversation of it all is to the people out there who think that every game is rigged and every referee is against your team only. Well, if both sides think it's rigged against them, it's probably not rigged. So I think the integrity of the sport is intact. I really am anti all these people online like, oh, it's rigged for this team. It's rigged for that team. It's rigged. Like, I don't want to hear all that. I never subscribe to all that. There is way too many human beings involved in these events for there to be a script, if you will, for there to be an encouragement to help certain teams win and certain teams lose. There are so many moving parts to these leagues. Like, there's leaks everywhere in society right now. Everywhere. You don't think this stuff would get leaked a little bit? Come on.
Well, the Mets don't leak anything, Pete. We know that. The Mets don't leak anything. So there's no leaks.
Runs out of the bullpen.
Which Jeff McNeil would get caught gambling.
Oh, stop. Wow.
But my point is this. It's frustrating to me when people just constantly say, oh, the league is rigged. The NBA is rigged, bro. Yeah, they want
Kings Lakers is rigged. Kings Lakers is rigged.
It was rigged.
Yeah. I mean, Kings Lakers was rigged.
I've heard the story. We don't need to go through it. I know what you're gonna say. I know the ideas behind it all. I get it. There's too many moving parts for things to not leak in society. That's all I'm saying. That's all I believe in when it comes to these leagues. There's
too many people have to be on the same page. Like they said, COVID was a whole thing. We're not going to get into that. But I was like,
let's just look at.
So you mean at 3 a.m, all the world leaders were on the phone together saying, "Let's do this"? Like, come on, stop.
Like, let's be honest. Let's look at it this way. Just look at any podcast that Rashad McCants or Jeff Teague is on. You don't think one of those guys would have spilled the beans? Rashad McCants would have spilled the beans because he says the most wildest stuff in the world.
He ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, bro.
He sucks. And then Jeff Teague would have probably been like, I sucked too bad. Guy was a borderline all-star. Guy was a borderline all-star, and he's like, yeah, I would have been too bad to tank a game.
Yeah, how big is that closet, bro? How big is that closet?
I'm finding mad stuff in this closet, bro. This is crazy. Where am I?
That's his bird watching.
Yo, who's that guy that went missing in Jersey? What was his name? And they said he was buried under the fucking what's that?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa's in that closet. That's guys. Before we get out of here, because I got to get ready for the 10 o'clock show that I got.
And I got to get some rest.
Let's get final shout outs. Guys, like always, I'll be at Citi Field this Sunday. If anybody's there, make sure you guys hit me up on all social media platforms. Follow me on the TikTok. Make sure you follow Pete Kennedy. He be dropping some dope ass TikToks as well. Gallo got to start with his TikTok game, and Al got to start with his TikTok game. But Pete be dropping some funny shit. Actually, Gallo be having me dying on Instagram with the shit that he be posting on his story. But yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm your guy Hector Bochem from Latino Sports.
Yeah, I'm on tomorrow after the Yankees broadcast finishes on the Fan till midnight. And like I said, 47% chance I'm at the game Sunday. But you guys can always follow me on X and IG and TikTok. I do once a month post.
He does some dances. He be doing dances sometimes.
Oh, I'm done.
That's good. Those were good times with the Gallo dancing out there on TikTok. I'm producing for Keith McPherson on the Fan on Monday, 6 to midnight, or whatever his show starts. Might be 6:30. I'm not really sure, but 6 to midnight ish. I'll be producing for Keith McPherson on the Fan. Not producing for the boys Al or Gallo this weekend, but I know they're hosting. Al, you got to wake up in a few hours and get out there and cook on WFAN as you do. But always Subway Sports Talk on TikTok and Instagram, my podcast, etc. Yeah.
Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second, bro. This is
damn it. Y'all gonna make me. I can't go to my closet to get my closet is far from me. Hold on.
Hold on, man. This is out of control, bro. Hold on a second, man. Hold on a second, bro. Hold on a second, bro.
I feel like Raiden.
Yo,
hold on.
What's up?
This is
that Tekken?
No, it's Mortal Kombat. Raiden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do look like Raiden. This is Crazy Hat Day here at Uptown Sports TV.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'll be on the Fan 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. and also Saturday night 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. 5 hours delight with Absolute Cintron on a Saturday night. 888-808-1019. Big Zoo will be on the board tomorrow morning. Look at this fucking guy with the binoculars, bro. Looking like a peeping Tom from 1970s, bro. Look at this shit, bro. What's going on, man?
Al, check the TV, Al. Check the TV.
Check the TV.
Oh, baby. He got him a run as his car position. What the fuck is that stripper hat you have, Hector?
Oh, you just realized that I was wearing this, bro. I switched hat, bro. It's Christmas in July. It's July 3rd. It's Christmas night. You feel me? Anybody out there, if you guys are going to go to any barbecues or anything like that over the weekend, please be safe. Please be responsible. There's a lot of dumb stuff that's happened when people be getting a little bit too much in their system. Gallo is channeling his inner Raiden right now.
There we go.
Pete, what was your thoughts on Iron Heart? 1 to 10. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I finished it. 7.9. Very much enjoyed. Solid show. I had a lot of fun. Shout out to I don't no spoilers. Shout out to the character who showed up.
Yeah. 8 out of 10 for me. It was pretty dope. Al, you got to do your fucking homework and watch some adult.
Well, I watched Squid Games the last season. That shit sucked, bro. What a disappointment.
Wow, thanks for spoiling it.
This is so
that shit sucks,
bro. We got
football
helmets, Santa hats.
I'm ready, bro. I gotta ask you a question real quick because I'm debating. Do I go to week 1, Washington and Giants, or do I wait and go? What does it say? Does that make?
Don't make me break out my Magneto helmet. Get the Magneto helmet, Ant. Get the Magneto helmet.
Or do I go to Green Bay week 2, Washington at Green Bay?
Washington at Green Bay.
Check out Green Bay. Shout out.
Check out Green Bay.
Going to London for Broncos Jets. Hopefully,
hey,
I'm going to Spain for Washington Dolphins.
Yeah.
Washington Dolphins. So I get to I'll knock Europe off the board because Evan and Tiki were talking about it. I knock Europe off the board myself. I've never been, so I'll go to Spain, Madrid, and check out the food. You been to Spain, Gallo? I know you go to soccer matches and shit.
I did.
How's the food?
I went to Barcelona. Barcelona was fire. The food was fire. Madrid sucked. Madrid was whack.
Oh, but that's when they're playing the game. Fuck, bro.
No, Madrid. Listen, go. I would go. I would never go back. I would go back to Barcelona though.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody, take care. Have a safe holiday weekend. I'm going on vacation myself, so the boys are gonna hold it down next week. I will be off the grid. No phone. I've changed my number. There'll be no Instagram, no Twitter. I'll be logged off of everything. So everybody be safe. Have a great holiday weekend. Check me out on the Fan 2 in the morning. And that's it. As always, Pete Kennedy.
Wash your ass.
And Al is going to be logged into Pornhub. That's the only thing he's going to be logged into.
No,